In time for episode 79 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with Geeks on Tour. We are old dogs, but we can learn new tricks.
Hi.
Hey, everyone. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your iPhone or your Android or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is on a regular basis. So kind of bite-sized pieces, just keep on learning. So that's why we came up with this weekly 45-minute show, or at least we try to keep it to 45 minutes.
We started at 30 minutes. What's happening?
And we need an hour once in a while. Our website is geeksontour.com, and we invite you to go there and find all of the tutorial videos available.
Okay. Well, where are we now?
We're home in Fort Lauderdale, which is home to us and to a lot of iguanas.
I took that picture of the iguana with my smartphone. I like having my regular camera along for our walks, but that was just not that day. All right. So today's show, we have a tip of the day, how to hold your phone camera. Our beginner's lesson, that should take a while, all about backing up your smartphones. And our app of the day, how to tie knots. And if you have questions, ask them here in the comments. The show is recorded on YouTube and available on our channel. You can always find those links on our website, geeksontour.com. Okay.
Okay.
We do invite you to become a member. We are member supported, and that is how we keep these things coming to you. So show notes, you going to do something real quick?
Just to mention that every week I do write up the class notes, if you will, from the previous week's show, and they are available to members. So last week's class notes on our social media with Abby Stokes is now available. You just go to geeksontour.com and click on weekly show. And then you'll have to scroll down a bit because we always start with the current show, and then you'll get into the reruns or the archives. So every show is listed there with a brief statement about what it's about and the link to go to YouTube. But if you are a member, you can get the notes and links.
Very cool. All right. How about a quick tip?
The quick tip is about phones, and well, everything's about phones, isn't it?
I think so. With you,
is
anyway.
this a phone? Is this a phone or is this a camera?
Yes.
Well, when you're using it as a phone, you hold it this way. But I say when you're using it as a camera, you should hold it like a camera this way. Now, we've talked about this before. Oh, that's kind of cute. I'm going to take a picture of the screen. But everywhere I go, I see people taking pictures with their phones, and they're holding them like this. They are not going to have as good of an experience when they view those on a computer screen or when they project them to a TV screen, because they're going to be vertical in the middle of the screen rather than being big, taking up the whole wide screen. So that's my tip of the day.
And that's a very good one. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/2geeksontour. How about a beginner's lesson? Are you ready for this one? Deep breath.
This is a toughie. Backing up your smartphone. We're going to end up doing a fair amount of talking because there's some concepts. It's not hard. It's not hard. In fact, it's almost too easy. So most people who use a phone don't have a clue. I mean, they say they're not backing up, and then they lost their phone and they say, all my pictures are gone.
Oh my God.
And I get together with them. I pick up their new phone and I show them where their pictures are. So lots of times it's being done automatically, but you need to understand it a little bit. So backup or sync, there's a difference, and we're going to be talking a fair amount about that. So is your phone automatically backing up your data? If not, you're in a world of hurt when you lose your phone. And if so, some data may be backing up to more than one service using lots of your phone's data, of your connection data. And so that's something you need to know if it's happening or not. So backup and sync. There's some terminology that we have to go through here,
okay,
to get to it. So the first term is the cloud. What is the cloud? The cloud is just the internet. And within the cloud, though, there are lots of other clouds. So the Apple's online storage service, they called iCloud. Do you think that's confusing?
Oh no, I think that's brilliant marketing on Apple's part.
Because a lot of people do think that cloud means Apple's storage service.
If they're in the Apple world, that's where they are, yeah.
But it doesn't. The cloud means the internet. Then iCloud is Apple's cloud storage service.
Mm-hmm.
Google has a whole family of them: Gmail, Google Drive, Google Photos. So we will call that the Google Cloud.
Okay.
Then comes, then Samsung has a cloud. So if you have a Samsung phone, you are prompted to back up everything to the Samsung cloud service. Do you have to?
No.
No, not if you understand where other things are going. Verizon, same thing. If you bought your phone from Verizon, they will tell you to back up to the Verizon cloud service. And then there's even more: Dropbox, OneDrive, Microsoft's cloud service. Amazon has maybe the best cloud service. So that is when I say the cloud, I'm speaking generically, meaning online, on the internet. When I'm talking about your account in the cloud, then I'm talking about your Google account or your Apple account or your Samsung account or your Verizon account, because that's what you'll need to know to access your stuff.
So accounts, your account ID, which may be different from your email address on all of these different things, and your password are the important things. So your ID, username, and password. Those are the most important things to have, right?
Yeah, think of it like you have, you're keeping important stuff in a safe deposit box at a bank. You know, if you don't have your ID, you're not going to get your stuff.
Right. Somebody's going to stop you. Okay.
The next terminology to agree on. Now, I'm also going through this because you might find these terms used differently elsewhere. So
I know I've heard them differently anyway.
So I want to let you know how we use them. When we say the word upload, we're talking about getting something from your device up to the cloud. When we talk download, we're talking about getting something that's up in the cloud already and bringing it down to your device, be that a computer or a phone or a tablet. Upload to the cloud, download to your device.
And I say import export if we're going side to
sideways.
Side.
Next is backup. Now, backup traditionally meant backing up from your computer to an external hard drive or to some other local hard drive.
Okay.
Now, you used to have to make sure that small businesses did this, and what was the process?
Well, when I was a network administrator for small businesses, and everybody had a computer, every desk, every person, they had file servers back then, and everything backed up to the file server, and then I would have the file server back up to tape. Typically, it would be to a tape drive. Other ways of doing it were to mirror drives and to do things like that. So you would have a separate backup, completely separate, and that was done on a regular basis. So I made sure that that was scheduled and at least once a day. And there are a lot of different strategies to make that happen.
So it was once a day, and that created a separate backup each day, right? So you did like 7 and then you started over and overwrote.
Right, because those tapes were all fairly expensive, and I knew that if I had 5 or 6 already backed up, I wouldn't have to go back very far to find the information that may have been deleted or changed or something.
And for people with their personal computers, you would get an external hard drive, plug it into your computer, and do a backup. Once a day, once a week, once a month, whatever your system was, it took a snapshot of your computer information and put it on here. Now, that's changing, though. Now, the new way to back up is copy contents to another storage device. That other storage device is now the cloud. And you might not be working with a computer, you might be working with a phone, like the topic of this class. Your phone can back up to the computer, or it can back up to the cloud. Now, but in all these cases, we're referring to backup as meaning a static snapshot in time. And it's one way, and it's usually meant to restore. So you have this backup snapshot, something happens to your device, you get a new device, and you restore everything from the backup.
Yeah, I think that was the main reason for backups back then, was for catastrophes and catastrophic failures. A hard drive would go bad, and that would be a bad situation. So you had to get a new hard drive in and have the data ready to go back in to minimize the downtime.
But things have changed. We now have synchronizing. The original synchronizing, remember the old, what was it, Palm Pilot?
Yeah, that was the first one that I had to deal with in the corporate.
So for a long time, all we had was computers. And when we were away from our computer, we didn't have our contact list or our calendar. We had to like print it out and take it with us or something.
You had a little black book.
And then came synchronizing.
Or you carry the Rolodex along.
And then came synchronizing, where you could synchronize your mobile device with the information on your computer by attaching a cable. But that's changing. Now, synchronizing is done to the cloud, or it can be. And that's what it mostly is, done to your account in the cloud. And it happens to multiple devices all at once. So if you add a contact to your computer, it is continuously, it's automatically uploaded to the cloud and then downloaded to any syncing devices. So your phone and your tablet are syncing devices, and they're all staying in tune with each other. So if you lose your phone, no big deal. Just pick up your tablet, go get a new phone, tell it your account information, and it resyncs. So things have it's really, really easy to do. It's just not necessarily easy to understand. So that's syncing, and the characteristics of synchronizing are it's constantly updating. It's two-way, so you don't have to schedule it for once a night or something like that. It's two-way, and it's multiple devices that are all connected to the cloud.
That can be a good thing, or it can be a bad thing.
I like it. I really like it. But you might, you might want to have an extra backup that is not on the cloud. I agree with that completely. So what do you do with your phone to make sure you are safe? What you have to do is you have to look at your phone. Just want to, and hang up on any person that's trying to call me during our show. You have to look at your phone and think about each one of these apps that you're using. And what would happen if you lost your phone? Will you be able to get the information from your social network, from your Facebook? Yeah, because Facebook is all in the cloud. Will you be able to get your calendar? Yes, if you know your account username and password that calendar is going to. So with each one, so take a look at this. Look at each icon and think, what would happen to that info if you lost your phone? Contacts. Be sure to save contacts to an account, not just to the phone. And I will show you that when we get to the demo part. And you can review episode number 48, which was all about contacts. Your email and your calendar are absolutely connected to an account. So they're either connected to your iCloud account in Apple, or with your Gmail account, or with your Yahoo account, or with your Microsoft account. So those are all cloud-based. Photos and videos, now those could be, if you take a picture with your phone and you have not set anything up, then they're just on your phone. And if you lose your phone, you lose your pictures. So you do have to set something up. We recommend Google Photos, but the iCloud Photos does the same thing, and we will show you that. Music can be different. If you have added music to your phone without it being a cloud account, then you lose your phone, you lose your music. But we recommend cloud services like Google Music or Spotify. Documents, we use Dropbox. So every device synchronizes with Dropbox in the cloud, and we never lose a document. Text messages are different. So my comment on text messages, first of all, is, do you care? Do you really need to keep all of those text messages when you get a new phone? If so, then you probably need to use your provider's backup. So Verizon, for example, if your phone is going through Verizon, that's where your text messages are going through, and they can back them up. Call log, same thing. Your phone is going through Verizon or T-Mobile or whoever, and they would need to back that up. I don't care. Now, what about your apps? Well, if you've bought apps on Android, the Play Store remembers that. It's attached to your Google account. And on the iPhone, your Apple ID and the App Store remembers that. And I will show you that. Okay, so I'm ready for a little bit of demo here. We're going to start with the iPhone.
All right.
And what I'm doing is I want to show you I can't show you everything, but I'll show you a photo, a contact, and a calendar item, and how they get synchronized. So we've already taken, just to save time, right before the show started, we took a photo with this. This is Jim's iPhone. And right before the show, he took a picture of me. So that's showing that it is this show. Now, what happens, and the same thing with a text message. Right before the show, we made sure to send a couple of text messages. You know, are you ready for the show? Etc. Now, for contacts, I'm going to go ahead and add one because there's something important to understand about contacts. In contacts, there's this thing called groups. A lot of people have never noticed this thing called groups. And this phone, this is Jim's phone, has been told in its settings that contacts are coming from either his Gmail account or his iCloud account. If he only is looking at the iCloud group, then when he adds a contact, it will be added to the iCloud group. If instead he was looking just at his Google account, the contact would be added to his Google account in the cloud and not to his Apple account. So I'm going to make somebody here who starts with A. So we'll be, oops, that was Andy Evans, A-N-D-Y. And I'm going to say iCloud is his company, so we can recognize it when we get to there. And add a phone. And done. All right. Notice Andy Adams there. And once again, if I go into groups and I say, show me just my Gmail groups, then Andy Adams is not there.
Bob is.
Groups, yeah.
His brother Bob.
So we're going to keep it on iCloud. And if you want to know more about contacts, we did a whole episode on contacts as well. You can go back and look at that.
Number 48, I believe.
Okay. So now come over to the computer. And because how do you know if this got backed up? You go to, one of these days I'll figure out how to do this. You have to go to iCloud.com. iCloud.com and log in. Notice this is logged in with James.
And we're very proper here.
And if I look at photos, now we're on the computer. So let's say he dropped his phone overboard.
Not again.
Yep, it does happen, folks. He dropped his phone overboard, but no problem, because iCloud is backing up his photos to iCloud, to the cloud. All right. And then also in iCloud online, the next thing we did was text messages. I don't see anything about text messages here.
Nor do I.
That's because iCloud doesn't back up text messages.
Wow.
That's just
not their job.
Yeah. I figure if you want, because that's going through your phone, or sometimes it's going through data. But anyway, it's not part of the iCloud backup. Contacts, since we made sure that it was added to the iCloud group, there is Andy Adams, iCloud. Okay, now back to the phone. Now that hopefully you have the concept, so you do not have to fear losing your phone, because it's there. Now, let's see where that is that it gets set up. In your settings, under iCloud. And notice he has iCloud Photos on. iCloud Photo Library. It's that setting that made sure that the photos were being uploaded to his iCloud account. And there's other options here, but that's the one that will make sure that your photos are uploaded. And what was next? The oh, I didn't show the calendar. Oh. Well, the calendar, you have to take my word for it. The calendar, any calendar item that was entered is online also, is in the account. But one other, we say that we recommend using Google Photos for your photos. Mm-hmm. So here is Google Photos, and there is that same picture. And it is synchronized to your Google account in the cloud because of Google Photos. Now, is that good or bad?
I think it's good.
Having your photos two places in the cloud does mean you have, what is it, belt and suspenders?
Belts and suspenders, yeah. Extra careful. But is it necessary? Probably not.
Well, but what is it also using? It's using
data.
Bandwidth, yeah. Well, actually, on the iPhone, it doesn't do backups unless you're on Wi-Fi. But for a lot of our friends, Wi-Fi is a Verizon hotspot, so that is still using data.
Right.
Okay. And there's one more thing in the iCloud backup settings to see, and that is actually here, iCloud, and just backup. So what does just backup mean? Well, a couple of things, such as your accounts, your documents, health data, home screen configuration, things that aren't just your data will be backed up here. It can also be set to back up your pictures. Well, it used to be, it looks like, I think maybe that's changed, because your picture, what iCloud backed up? Purchase history, TV shows, apps, and books. So you do need to set that photo backup separately. Now, one thing that I've read, but I still haven't been able to see it, notice that it says last backup 8:10 this morning, and you can choose to just back up now. If you are running out of space, I have read, but I haven't seen it anywhere yet, that you can delete a previous backup. Because remember, what is backup? Backup is a snapshot stuck in time, frozen in time. So every time you make a backup, it's a whole different set. So if something goes wrong in between set 2 and set 4, you can go back to set 2. And they're all taking up space. So if your backup starts getting full, you can delete one of the older ones. But I can't show you that because I've never seen it. And there was one other thing I wanted to show you. Yes, in the App Store. So in the App Store, if you go to Updates and then Purchased, this is where it remembers everything you've purchased, whether it's on your phone now or not. That's what that little cloud. So that is being sent whenever you download an app, whether it's free or for a cost, they call that purchased. And it's recorded. So once again, if this phone goes overboard, you get a new phone, you log in with your Apple ID, username and password, that is your key, and all your apps can come back. We also did that in episode 61, I think, with resetting your phone. We showed that. Okay, so that's it for the Apple. Let me go to the Android. And I do want to show you that I've taken a photo. I'm just going to go to my gallery. And
now this is your phone.
This is my phone. This is my phone, my Samsung Android phone.
So we don't have to worry about my login and stuff.
Right. And here is the picture that I took just a couple minutes ago that you even saw me take. And I also have a calendar item. Today, I just before the show, I added a calendar item that Jim is taking me out to dinner tonight, right?
Yeah, after every show.
Okay. And we also did some text messaging. Now, I have Google Hangouts as my text messaging app. And here is the text SMS. That's what text messaging is, SMS. So I'm using Google Hangouts, but as my SMS manager. All right, so those are the 3 things. Now I'm going to add a contact. I think the easiest way to get to contacts is through my phone, and I just tap on contacts. And I think the Android makes it a little more clear. When you add a new contact, it's letting you know this is being added to your Google account. If instead yours is being added to your phone, then that means it's not being synchronized anywhere.
And if your phone goes overboard?
If your phone goes overboard, this contact went with it.
If it's not backed up somewhere else, right?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to add Andy Adams to mine, but I want to add it to my Google account. And yes, Andy Adams and phone number. Andy Ads. Okay, well, so it's Andy Ads. All right. Now my phone goes overboard. And we need to go to the computer then and see if everything is synchronized and I'm safe. So this is the process that I recommend that you do. Number one, just notice what's on your phone that you would miss. Make sure that it is getting synchronized and check it by going to the web. So I can check my calendar. And there is Jim taking me out to dinner. It is on my Google Calendar and it has been synchronized to the cloud and to any other devices with my Google account. My photo has been, I'm sure, synchronized to my Google Photos.
Oh, that's a nice one on there next to it.
Yeah. Oh.
Something to, oh.
There we go. Yeah. I just love pictures. So if and what was the last thing? Now, text messages, no. So I was hoping, and this I just learned because of this show, I thought that because I was using Hangouts, Google Hangouts, as my SMS text messaging manager, that I would see them all here. Notice in the lower left-hand corner of my Gmail screen, these are my Google Hangouts conversations. And there's plenty of my Google Hangouts conversations, but SMS text messages are not showing up there. So I will show you in a minute how you get those. And what was the last thing? Was that it? That was the last thing. Photos, messages, oh, contacts. Contacts are also here. Now this is actually going to show my real contacts, and the way they get displayed here, it shows their email and phone number. So,
you don't want
so yeah, I go, but I'm going to click on contacts from my Gmail screen and just confirm, you're going to have to take my word for it, that Andy Adams, if I knew how to.
It's a keyboard thing, huh?
Yeah. The Andy Ads is definitely here. And as I say, we did a whole episode just on contacts if you want to review that. Okay, then back to the phone.
Okay.
And how is all this backup set up? In the Android settings, under accounts. See, there is this thing, and let me show that first, since it's so backup and reset. Now, if you want to back up your phone, you might say, I should go here and back up my data. But this is just that snapshot of data for your applications, your Wi-Fi passwords, and other settings. This is not for your email, your calendars. That is under your Google account. So accounts, and look at all these accounts. Every one of them has some synchronizing that happens.
And every one of them has a username, ID, and password.
And that is what you better have backed up on paper or on something that you know how to get to, unless you use a password manager. And we did a whole show on passwords too, so go look at that. If you go into accounts, you tap on the account that you want to have synchronized, and here they all are. There's where sync calendar, sync contacts, sync drive, sync Gmail, sync Google Photos, sync Google Play Music, All of those are in here. So if you check and your contacts are not synchronizing, here is where to look. And where was that? That was under Accounts, your Google account, and you might have more than one. So you tap on the one that you're looking for. And now notice I have Sync Blogger turned off. It's because I just don't need to be looking at that on my phone. Okay, and on apps. So if you've lost your phone and you get another one and you didn't back up your apps, your Google account still knows what apps you've gotten. And where do you see that? In Google Play, under My Apps and Games. And instead of just installed, all means show me everything, whether it's installed or not. So this Fishdom was apparently something that I installed when the grandkids were around. It's free, but it is not installed right now. But if I want to remember what games they would play, I have the listing of all of my apps there. I think that was all of my demo. What questions do we have?
Okay, let's see if I can bring one up here. There we go. Come on. Does the data sync and or backup occur with cell connection and or Wi-Fi connection?
Yes. Actually in the Google, I don't see the option. Mine, in the iPhone, it's Wi-Fi. It doesn't.
Yeah, on the iPhone, it's Wi-Fi only. On the Android, at least on our Androids, we have a choice. So we can say back up on Wi-Fi only or use your cellular data on the phone to use to back up.
Yeah, I mean, good question. Something to check out. And it might be different on your system, but usually there is the option. Lots of times on the iPhone, I find that if I haven't connected to Wi-Fi, my backups haven't happened.
Okay. Bob's asking, how do we make sure the data is safe and secure when I sync files or backup? We have seen backups that would not restore after an update. Yeah, I've seen that too. That's really can be a problem. So yeah, what I say back in the old days, I would say take a file that's on the backup and on your computer and delete it, take it off of there and see if you can restore it back. Now it can be a test file. It's probably the easiest and simplest. You don't want to use a real important file and delete it and see if you can restore it, but test it, and then you can have that feeling of assured.
But the thing is, with the phones, the only way to test the backup feature, the only way to test the backup feature is to wipe your phone and try resetting it up. And that's just too scary, which is why I love the synchronizing, because you can check that your synchronize is working constantly, anytime. I forgot to mention that you can back up your whole phone, an iPhone, to a computer using iTunes.
Right.
There is no native way to do that for Google, but there is an app called My Backup or My Backup Pro that does the same thing.
Okay. Jerry's asking, I didn't know about seeing Google account when adding a new name on my phone. How do I sync those names that may have been only added under phone only? Good question.
Very good question. And there is a way. I'll have to maybe write up an article on that or something, because it's a little bit
too much.
I don't remember how, put it that way. I don't remember how.
No, you know how. You just can't get into it right now.
And also look at our episode on contacts. I think it was 48. And I'm pretty sure we do it there, but there is a way to say, hey, Android, see all of these contacts that are just on phone, move them to my Google account. You can always export and import, but I'm pretty sure there's an even easier way to merge them.
All right. Cool.
And I didn't show Verizon. Yeah, let me go back to my phone here, my Android phone. And if I go to Verizon Cloud, which they also just call cloud. Look at that. I mean, I just don't know how they get away with that. I mean, there's iCloud. So people see that and they say, oh, I'm supposed to, Chris told me to use the cloud. So I go here, but this is Verizon's cloud. And if you tell it to back up all your photos, you've now transferred photos 3 times.
Wow.
You know, if you have it, say, on Facebook and on, now I do agree with 2 times. So if you like Verizon, maybe, and notice here is messages and call logs. So if you do want your text messages, go ahead and use the Verizon cloud and just uncheck everything but the text messages. So that's something to do. But this is another account. You need to know your Verizon username and password, and then they will send you email to other emails. Okay, no other questions? Then we're perfect. Let me make sure I covered everything that I wanted to.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
And so we want to get back to...
You think you can do that?
Back to here. I think I can.
Wow. Good deal.
And
okay, teaching old dogs new tricks. Geeks on Tour, like us on Facebook. Our app of the week, we wanted to do a quick app of the week, and this is one that's unusual in that it costs some money. Most of the apps that I put out there are free or less expensive, and there are some free knot programs out there, but I love their tagline. It's better to know a knot and not need it than need a knot and not know it. So animated knots, go to your Play Store or your App Store on an Apple, and knots are just one of the most important things that you can do if you're a mariner, if you're out at sea, or if you're like to boondock, if you're out there and you like to just hiking. Anytime you're out there and you have some line or something, always take some line with you. You have some
well, I just have the app.
Okay, let's take a look at it then.
Showing. Somebody at a rally came up and showed me this, and I just thought it was really different. I mean, it teaches you in an animated way how to make a particular knot.
Right, and this one is on the Apple and the Android, and it has a website where you can look at these things, and they actually have an animation so you can just step yourself right through the tying of a knot or untying a knot. So you can go back and forth. It can be really handy. Most of the free ones are very limited in the scope of how many knots they'll actually teach you. The one that costs $5 is going to have a lot more stuff. You do not need an internet connection while you're in there. It'll save those knots and those animations to your phone, and you'll have those with you without an internet connection. Very handy, great to have. Any household should have one.
Well, any sailboat anyway.
Well, certainly.
Oh, they probably already know how, don't they?
Well, some. I've seen a lot of people out there tying knots that they don't have a clue. And it is just a simple few knots. And if you know those and you can do it, you practice a little bit, you can really look like a pro. So that's cool.
If you want to impress your captain.
Yeah, impress your captain. Wow. I think you did good. Did you learn something? I know I do every time. So for each item, state whether it describes backup or sync. Static snapshot in time.
That describes a backup.
Okay. Affects multiple devices.
That affects sync, describes sync,
Yeah.
synchronizing.
One-way process.
That describes backup.
Requires an account username and password.
Actually, both of them might, but synchronizing, absolutely, because that's definitely just with the cloud and you need an account.
Okay, and the data can be viewed online.
There might be some backups that you can view the data online, but most of them not. I mean, the iCloud backup is something that's invisible to us, but the synchronized apps you can see online, and that's just the way to go.
Which of the following needs special attention? Stored on the device might not be synchronizing with the cloud. So contacts.
Contacts need some special attention. You might have contact if you've had your phone for a long time, definitely, because it used to be with phones. That is one of the main things they did was store your contacts.
But they weren't anywhere else.
Yeah. So now new phone, no. New phone it's going to be attached to some account.
Okay. How about your email?
Email has to be attached to an account. I mean, yeah.
That's the way it works. Calendar?
Calendar is connected with email.
Okay. How about notes?
Notes. Oh, I didn't mention notes. Yeah. Notes are just like contacts. So they could be attached to an account, or they could be attached to another account, or just your phone. So
photos
might, if you haven't ever done any setup, then they're just on your phone. So they require special attention. Music requires special attention.
And text messages.
And text messages require special attention.
Okay. True or false? If you have a Samsung device, you must use your Samsung account to back it up.
False.
Because...
But you can, if it's just as long. You have a Samsung, in the setup process, it will urge you to check the box to back up. As with Apple, you will be required to pay some extra when you get over 5 gigabytes.
And that's easy to do. So true or false, if you have an Apple device, you must use the iCloud backup feature.
Nope.
Same deal, right?
Same thing. Yeah, you can and it's a good thing to do if you want an extra backup. But if it's using up all your space and you don't want to buy more space, just use Google.
Okay. Why not use both Google Photos and iCloud Photo Library?
Why
not?
Yeah, why not? You can. I mean, I use Google Photos and OneDrive. I know that I have set both of those to back up my photos. So my photos are going up twice. But if I was also using iCloud, Verizon, Samsung, I don't need them to go up 5 times. And if you're using your cellular data, that's going to cost you money.
It will. The most important thing you must know for all of this to work is
usernames and passwords.
And if you don't have those, we can't help you. All right. So, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows?
GeeksOnTour.com, and the menu item is Weekly Show.
All right. And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters.
GeeksOnTour.com, and the menu item is Blogs and Articles. Newsletters is under there.
And the benefits you get by joining Geeks on Tour.
You can access all of our 400 and some odd prepared tutorial videos. You can ask us any question on the member Q&A, and you get the show notes for these shows.
And something new that we're going to be doing here this week, we're going to start it, and I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we're going to have a follow-up to these shows for anyone who's interested in following up or getting some more information, asking questions, or just participating with us in the Geeks. It's because we have a new system coming on for these webinars and for these web classes, and we'll see how that works out for us.
Yeah, Jim is figuring out a software called Webinar Jam, and we want to try using it. So we need some guinea pigs.
So if you're interested, we'd love to have you. It'll be, and I'll send out a separate thing to the list, but just so you know, it'll be there.
Did you put the link there?
Did I? No, not yet.
But I think that might be because I don't want to send out to everybody.
Okay, I'll put the link on this event page, and yeah, we will send out to the people who are watching today.
So meaning if you want to join us for a private session tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, find the link he's going to put there.
Find the link, and it'll be on our website, and it'll be, I'll put it on the show page too.
There you go. There you go.
Weekly show page, that'll be a separate piece, and we'll try and make it. And I don't expect a whole lot of people to show up, but that's something that we want to get out and try. Okay, so for next week, well, we have the guinea pig section. Our next topic, backing up without the cloud or a computer using a wireless device or wireless drive.
We're going to continue the backup topic next week. And I mean, what if you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean and you take a bunch of pictures? You don't have any internet, you don't have a computer. This is a backup drive, a wireless drive, and we're going to show you how to use it next week.
Boy, that sounds like fun. All right, watch for the notification for the next show. It'll be on our website, geeksontour.com. Click, then let us know that you're coming, and leave any questions there in the comments. Okay, Geeks on Tour. What does this button do? You pushed it too many times.
Yep.
Okay, try it again. There we go. That's the one I wanted. What does this button do? Well, we'll see you next time.
You can push my buttons anytime.
Yeah, keep pushing those buttons. See you next week.